His killer said he was dead. And researchers in the US successfully tested a drug which can slow the onset of multiple sclerosis. The technique, which alters the immune system, is being described as a landmark treatment. And those are the headlines.
BBC World News, your daily briefing on business and economics from the world's financial centres. From New Broadcasting House in London, World Business Report.
The US takes aim at China's Alibaba. So the question is this a sign of things to come under a Trump presidency? Plus, oh boy, an expensive day in court. Yep, a Brazilian firm agrees to pay around $3 billion to settle corruption charges. That is the biggest bribery fine in history. Hey, hello everybody. I'm Aaron Hazelhurst. Welcome to the program. If you're tuning in for the first time, or if you're a regular watcher, stay where you are because we're about to deliver a little bite-sized snapshot of all the latest in the world of business and money. There's lots going on. Let's start with what could become a big row. Chinese e-commerce giant, that is Alibaba, is back on America's blacklist over selling counterfeit goods. Yep, that's well, the list is it's like a roll call of so-called notorious market. Now, Alibaba is the world's largest retailer, and the news will certainly come, well, as a bit of a blow to the company as it attempts to expand outside, of course, of China, its home market. The BBC's Marika Oy has the details.
The company was only taken off the list 4 years ago, but the US authorities have said that the company's online platform, Taobao, is used to sell high-levels fake goods. Alibaba has come out and rejected these allegations, saying that it polices the marketplace a lot better than in the past. And it also suggested that today's political climate in America might have something to do with the fact that it's back on the blacklist. And of course, they're talking about President-elect Donald Trump, who repeatedly accused China of stealing intellectual property during election and just appointing an outspoken China critic as the head of the new trade body. But of course, Donald Trump hasn't taken office yet, so I'm sure the US authorities would probably disagree with Alibaba's speculation that that has anything to do with the fact that it's back on the blacklist.
Indeed. Okay, Marika, good on you there. We're going to keep across that story. Also, Alibaba, it's not the only company that's had a run-in with US authorities. Odebrecht, which is the largest engineering firm in Latin America, and its affiliate, Braskem, appeared at a court in New York yesterday. These are all the lawyers arriving before agreeing to pay more than $3 billion to settle charges under the US Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. They've admitted paying out hundreds of millions of dollars to Brazilian state oil firm Petrobras and others to secure some lucrative business deals. From New York, here she is, Samira Hussain.
In a New York court on Wednesday, Odebrecht agreed to pay at least $2.6 billion to U.S., Swiss, and Brazilian authorities, making this the largest foreign bribery case in history. But this is a Brazilian company, so why is this case happening here in the United States? Well, it's because the company was found guilty of violating the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. American laws are so vast and wide-sweeping that as soon as a company has any dealings that tie it to the U.S., they are subject to these rules. And the troubles for some Brazilian firms may not end here.
The sources that I have here in Brazil who were directly involved in the negotiations for this leniency, for this plea deal that we saw play out today, they have told me that literally up to 100 new investigations could come from this deal. The reason for that is because Odebrecht agreeing to pay this enormous fine, a historic fine. The flip side of that is that 77 other executives have turned state witness, and they are now giving testimony to Brazilian prosecutors about anyone's guess about what other crimes they've committed. And it's expected that up to 200 Brazilian politicians could be implicated in the case.
Earlier this year, the Odebrecht chief executive was jailed in Brazil for paying bribes to executives at Brazil's state-run oil firm Petrobras, which has been under investigation for corruption and bribery that has entangled Brazil's political officials.
Good on you, Samira. Okay. How about this one? You know, it is a dilemma that we've all faced in the past. You're travelling to a new city, towing around your bags and your suitcases, possibly a wife and kids, or who knows, but you're not allowed to check in to your hotel for another few hours. So do you what? Do you go and find a coffee shop, read a book to fill the time, or do you go off somewhere and try to find somewhere, well, to store your luggage? The industry, though, the left luggage industry, has a new rival, as one startup is trying to recruit small shops as urban hotspots for storage, which you can find on its app. It's signed up nearly 30 shops in the UK, mainly in London so far, but also in Oxford and Manchester. Take a look at this.
When travellers get time to kill in a city, they usually leave their bags in a place like this, not a place like this. Newsagents and similar small shops could become an alternative to left luggage if one startup has its way. City Stasher wants to turn small shops near transport hubs into urban storage hotspots. So far, City Stasher has signed up nearly 30 stores around England.
So why did you sign up to this?
Because we got some extra space and we want to make use of it.
But when you're here in the shop serving people, like someone coming in now, can you still be sure that the bags are safe?
Yes.
My bag is kept in a locked storeroom, and it's £5 for 24 hours. It would cost £12.50 to store my bag at the left luggage for 24 hours. But here I would have 24-hour access, security screening, and my stuff would be looked after by full-time staff. But could this amateur solution to short-term storage produce headaches for all involved? One of City Stasher's co-founders turned up to answer questions.
What happens if I'm having a great time, you know, Hyde Park boating, and I end up getting back a bit late? What happens to my stuff?
We don't recommend that people storing with us leave their absolute essentials, such as passports. The idea being that if there's an issue like that, we can always send on the luggage wherever they were going.
What do travellers make of this new method of left luggage?
I mean, I would trust it. I think I've left my suitcases in worse places, so I think I would trust it.
No, I guess probably better to make sure it's safe, pay the extra money.
I think these storage things are very expensive and there's definitely a place in the market.
Whether or not it proves popular, it's another example of technology opening up new possibilities. Dougal Shaw, BBC News.
Well, that's a good idea. Let's just touch on some of the other stories making headlines all around the world. What about this one? Donald Trump has chosen that man there, Peter Navarro, to head the newly formed White House Trade Council. Now, The Economist, well, he has written a number of books describing China as a threat to the US economy. Death by China is one of the books, and the papers, and the president-elect has threatened to hit China and Mexico with high tariffs once he takes office. Oh boy, a little bit of an update where you continue to keep our eyes on Italy's banking sector. Shares in Banco Monte dei Paschi, that's the world's oldest, it's the bank, it's the third biggest in Italy. They've had another very volatile day in share trading. That's after their prices fell 12% yesterday. The bank needs to raise, we keep reminding everybody, over $5 billion in order to, well, stay afloat, to operate. Today is the deadline for institutional investors to purchase shares in the company. Yesterday was the deadline for retail, so all of us ordinary folk and retail folk to buy shares. The Italian Parliament, we know, has authorised the government to use more than $20 billion to help basically bail out its very troubled banks if they can't raise the money privately. Hey, these guys right here, of course, the ride-sharing firm Uber has suspended tests of its self-driving cars in San Francisco. It's after regulators revoked the registration of the vehicles. Passengers had recently been given the option of booking a self-driving vehicle. However, the authorities had threatened legal action if Uber did not obtain a special permit to test those cars. And very quickly, the Gordo, yeah. The fat one, I think it's called, isn't that right? It's the $2.4 billion. That is the pool for that particular lottery. It's in Spain. It is a whopper. It's ongoing right now. Follow me on Twitter at BBC Aaron. I'm going to go and buy myself a nil.